Welcome to Community Church Unitarian Universalist. I am Alicia. I'm your worship associate today. It's a joy to be with you today. We are a progressive, open-minded, and inclusive religious community. We welcome all who are on a spiritual search for truth and meaning. Ours is a faith in action as we do the work of justice and elevate compassion in our quest to live ethically, recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every being. Please look to your weekly email for announcements. Marilyn has an announcement she will share with us.
Okay. First thing is the Metairie Road St. Patrick's Day Parade is this Sunday. And we are not having a party this year, but if you want to come by and chat with us on the front porch and use our bathroom as you go to the parade, you're welcome to come. Okay?
And there might be some green beer.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
We'll have to come and find out.
Yeah. Okay. This is my show and tell for this Sunday. And this Sunday, I'm going to talk about containers that you can put the plants in. Okay. Like this is a cutesy little glass that was all decorated. See, makes a nice little plant. And this is a pitcher, a cream pitcher that was missing its sugar bowl. Okay, and so it's no longer a set, but it still makes a cute little plant container. Okay, this is a mug. Nice little mug. All right. And then this, I think, this was going to be a wine glass, but it was cute. It was really cute, but all right. And this, I think, is one of those toothbrush holder things, Okay. And finally, you can even use a jar. See, you just put a little ribbon around it. Isn't that cute? Okay, so just to give you some ideas of that, if you happen to have a container, now all of these are rooted in one of those little plastic pots, and then just transferred them into the little container that I had just to make it a little special, but that's okay. You don't have to have everything in a nice, wonderful container. We need a whole lot that are just in the pots, but if you happen to have a little container, we just can get more money for it if it's in the little sweet container. That's what's important. Okay, and also I brought more of the plastic starter pots. Okay, they're in the fellowship hall on a table. Just take what you want. Okay. Thank you.
More sticks.
Oh yeah, the sticks. Yeah, these are the little sticks, and I'll leave the sticks for you. I'll bring the sticks as we get closer to the time of the sale. But I just put them in there so you can see what it looks like with the sticks. Okay. Oh, and one more thing. If you don't know the name of your plant, you know what it is. It's called. Don't worry about it, because I have an app for that. I do. It's on my phone. And all you have to do is take a picture of the plant, and then it tells you the name of the plant, and it tells you whether it's an indoor or an outdoor, wants light sun, no sun, whatever, you get all the details about it like that. So don't worry if you don't know the name of it. I can figure it out. Okay.
So this morning, we'd like to welcome any new and returning visitors today. We're happy to see you. We hope you will stay after the service for refreshment and fellowship. In the spirit of fellowship, please take a moment to turn to your neighbors, especially those you don't know. Maybe ask them what they would put a plant in if they had the choice. And spend some time greeting each other this morning.
What is this, little dog?
We're all energized to go start digging things up and planting them and trading coffee pots. Good morning. The womb of stars embraces us. Remnants of their fiery furnaces pulse through our veins. We are of the stars. The dust of the explosions cast across space. We are of the earth. We breathe and live in the breath of ancient plants and beasts. Their cells nourish the soil. We build our communities on their harvest of gifts. Our fingers trace the curves carved in clay and stone by forebears unknown to us. We are part of the great circle of humanity, gathered around the fire, the hearth, the altar. We gather again this day to celebrate our common heritage. May we recall in gratitude all that has given us birth. Let us join in the chalice lighting. You know, it really is a mark of true community when multiple people are jousting to be the ones to take care of a problem in the sanctuary. Yay! That's the spirit of community right there. The responsive reading is in your gray hymn book. It's number 468 near the back of the book. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted.
We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid.
We need one another when we are in despair and temptation and need to be recalled to our best selves again.
We need one another when we accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone.
We need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share our triumphs.
We need one another in the hour of defeat when we encourage we might endure and stand again.
We need one another when we have come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey.
All our lives we are in need of others are in need of us.
Now is our sacred time of joys and sorrows. If you are online, you may write your joy or sorrow in the comment section to be read out loud. And if you're here with us in person, you may write them out on one of the cards being passed out by our greeters. Please remain seated as we sing hymn number 1021 in the smaller teal hymnal, Lean on Me.
Sorry, I should have probably come to read this at the end because that song really got to me today. I have a special guest with me today, Rosa Diaz. Many of you have met her. If you haven't, you'll have a chance to meet her after this congregation. She was telling me on the way over here how this congregation has become her family here. She has no family from Honduras, and after this time, she really feels like when she comes and sees her faces that she's around family. And she wrote this thank you letter that I thought I would read to you all. Hello, everyone. We are writing this letter to thank you all so much for the gifts and thank you for your support. I, Rosa, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your gifts to my children and for your support of all of us. Thank you so much to everyone at the church.
We will light a candle, honor of Rosa and in gratitude. Another joy, spring is here and the birds are chirping with squirrels running through the trees and a new beginning for the world. This week marks the 6th anniversary of the outbreak of COVID in our community. We remember today all those we lost to the pandemic and those among us who are still struggling with the effects of long COVID. A sorrow, this war in the Middle East, and then a call to please protest. From Alan, watch your back. We're having Friday the 13th, Pi Day, and the Ides of March all in one weekend. But the weekend's almost over, so we almost need it. From Liz, my dear lifelong friend passed away Friday. His name was Earl. I take comfort that I was able to travel and say goodbye a couple weeks ago. My uncle, Walter Johnson, passed away peacefully on Friday. At 82, he had recently begun painting again and lived to see his art at NOMA. And we will light 2 more candles, one for the joys still arising, still too new to share, and one for the sorrows that we cannot yet put into words. Please know that we hold you in our hearts. Now let us pause for a moment of silence, recognizing the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in our community.
The reading is from a little book called Glory Hallelujah. Now please pick up your socks. And it's a book of meditations that I wrote and were published some years ago by Skinner House Books, an imprint of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Laura's mother. The sweat rolled down my forehead as ubiquitous summer mosquitoes droned around us. My friend Laura paused from the long story she was telling me, pushed back her chair under the old pear tree, and yelled out a warning to one of the kids in the swimming pool. We each took another swallow of lemonade, wiped our brows, and in the momentary quiet, I finally got a chance to ask her something that had been on my mind all afternoon. Laura is one of the most determined people I know. She has resolved to care for her equally strong-willed yet aging mother. Laura serves as a city councilwoman in her town, is very active in her church, parents 2 thriving adolescent girls, and heads a school department of many employees. You thought you were busy. Yet in her heart, there's always room for more. Laura has taken her mother into her home, wipes up her messes, is cheerful to her mother's eccentric friends, and shuttles her from doctor to doctor in various cities. Despite Laura's usual frenetic pace of teaching, parenting, planning, and serving, she has had to slow down and move at her mother's slower pace. I've seen her mother bark at her, complain, and fuss at her. Laura's eyes grow wide, but her lips stay shut. "Why are you doing this?" I explained. "The demands are just too much. It's above and beyond what you have to do. What are you thinking?" Laura didn't even pause to think. Her response was uncharacteristically short and simple. "She's my mother, Jane. She's my mother." That was all, and that was everything. Laura believes that she has a role in the cycles of birth and death, of growing and aging. Her role sometimes may be uncomfortable, inconvenient, and aggravating, but she accepts that as part of the package. Her soul is rooted in the human family. Life was never comfortable or predictable for Laura. It's even less so now, but she understands. She knows intuitively that we are all connected, that the life we make for one another is the life we make for ourselves. Thus ends the reading. Well, we Unitarian Universalists are bridge builders. We have to be. The only other choice is isolation and despair. We are bridge builders. But you know, with everything going on right now, I really don't want to be a bridge builder. I want to be an island dweller. I really do. It's my natural bent these days. These are hard times. Our lives are scary, stressful, and dangerous. I often feel like just scuttling back into my hole like a worried desert crab, locking the door, turning on Jeopardy at 6 p.m., and tuning out the world. I am just tired, emotionally, physically, spiritually tired. I suspect that I am not alone. Often, many of us feel like backing into our holes, protecting ourselves from so much that seems to assault us. There is so much to be afraid of. As a colleague said to me sadly not long ago, sometimes I think the slogan of our times is love your neighbor as yourself, but choose your neighborhood carefully. It's easy, comfortable, and safe to be an island dweller. But on the other hand, I, like you, have left my island this morning to come to a Unitarian Universalist church to build bridges with strangers and friends. Why come to and support a Unitarian Universalist congregation? I guess it's because in this age of fear, an age which seems to favor disconnection and polarization and individualism at the cost of human community, in this age of polarized groups of people who won't talk to each other, I believe that the only way through and out of our fear and isolation is to build bridges between people. I attend and support a Unitarian Universalist congregation because this conviction about connections is at the very heart of my faith. In Mostar, Bosnia, that star-crossed city where those who would destroy connections not so long ago had guns and mines, there was a beautiful bridge, an ancient medieval bridge. It spanned the river for 600 years, linking the Christian and Muslim neighborhoods. This bridge was the well-known place for lovers to meet, a place of kindness and embrace. The bridge was destroyed in 1993 during the height of the Bosnian-Serbian civil war in that land. At the same time, an hour away in the beautiful city of Sarajevo, snipers were having their way with men, women, and children, killing thousands of them. Sarajevo became an international symbol of what happened, and it was just a few years after the Winter Olympics were in Sarajevo, and still it became an international symbol not of harmony, but of what happens when power is in the control of those who would destroy bridges rather than build them. Yet musicians also live in Sarajevo. In response to a terrible massacre by snipers of 22 people waiting in line at a bakery, a musician in Sarajevo, a cellist, brought his cello to the bakery. He dressed in tuxedo and tails, and in front of the bakery, he played Albinoni's Fugue in D, not once, but each day for 22 days. There, sitting on a burned chair in the street, he played, and the world listened. Years later, that war ended, but other wars rage on mercilessly in Iran, in Syria, Israel, throughout the Middle East, in the Sudan, in the barrios of Venezuela. and in the streets of New Orleans, now my home. With all of that happening, how can I possibly go into my hole while the musician of Sarajevo plays? While the second lines and drunken Irishmen parade defiantly down the ravaged streets of New Orleans. There are bridges to be rebuilt. Thankfully, some years after the war in Bosnia ended, the world rallied, and the beautiful bridge of Mostar was rebuilt in 2004, reconnecting a tired, suspicious, yet hopeful people. You can see a picture of that rebuilt bridge on the cover of your order of service. There are bridges to be rebuilt right now in my own land, but I am tired and stressed out and afraid. That's why I support and attend a Unitarian Universalist congregation, because when I am tired, just like the song we just sang said, when I am afraid, there are others who will share their strength. In the book whose name I have lost, Marco Polo is having a totally fictional but possible, imagine. Marco Polo is having a conversation with Kublai Khan, describing the stones of a bridge before them. The Khan asks, which is the stone that holds it together? It is the arch, replies Marco. Why speak to me of stones when it is the arch? Because, explains Marco, without the stones, there would be no arch. We must be the stones in the arch. Building bridges takes many of us together. Why do I attend and support a Unitarian Universalist congregation? Because in this age of disconnection and loneliness and polarization, of snipers in Sarajevo and in New Orleans, a world in which Facebook substitutes for family, our era of choosing our neighborhoods and holing up in them, I will have the strength to be a stone in the bridge if I am supported by other people, more specifically, a community of all kinds of people with all kinds of beliefs, yet a community founded on the principles of respect, dignity, and interdependence. Just over 20 years ago, our 3 New Orleans area congregations suffered much trauma and loss. Can you believe this building has only been here barely 20 years? It's astounding. But 20 plus years ago, much trauma and loss as individuals, as communities, because of the hurricane and the federal flood. By being connected to one another and to the wider Unitarian Universalist community, we right here have experienced hope and connections, 10 in our hearts, in our bones. Others put their shoulders to ours to help rebuild our arch. Why do I attend and support a Unitarian Universalist congregation? Because I believe that bridges are built by those who put their hands to the task. It's not easy. It's blood and sweat and walking on the edge when you're afraid of heights. The story is told of 2 caterpillars who see a beautiful butterfly soaring above them. Amazed, they watch in silence. Then one of them turns back to the ground and declares, "You'll never catch me up in one of those contraptions." For caterpillars, whether they like it or not, the change just happens. For us, flight is a choice. Building bridges, hauling the stone, teetering on the scaffold is a choice. It's not easy. We may not even particularly like our companion bridge builders. We may get annoyed in a church committee meeting. Church consultant Carl Dudley not a Unitarian Universalist, but a shrewd observer of us has noted, the Unitarian Universalist, excuse me, the Unitarian Universalist Church's highest values are reflected in the way it creates an ambiance in which, if everybody agreed, it would be a miserable evening. Some of you know. Yet my rough stone edge and your rough stone edge create together an arch where without us together, there can never be one. But how are we connected? Is it just shared values, shared intention? Did you see the Time magazine article several years ago about the physicist who helped develop string theory? And Al, when we had our conversation about God, this will relate, I hope, to both of us. I like to think of myself as moderately intelligent and somewhat educated, but I haven't a clue what these theoretical physicists are trying to say when they describe the world as being composed of one-dimensional oscillating strings. There must be a physicist out there who has any idea what it means. I don't. He could describe the world as being composed of one-dimensional oscillating strings that, quote, move and vibrate with flavor, charge, mass, and spin. How can something that's one-dimensional do that? We are not spots in space. We are vibrating strings, and there is no wall between where I end and this space begins, or where I end and you begin. The bridges are there, infinitesimally small, moving and vibrating with flavor. I love it. How do you put flavor into you? But they did. The poets described it before the physicist confirmed it. And our job, yours, mine, and that of all who are committed to justice, mercy, and love, our job is to weave those threads, heave those stones, and build bridges that traverse gorges of distrust and despair, that create connections of love between human beings. You are doing this over and over again in Together New Orleans gatherings, by filling community refrigerators with food, by calling and emailing your legislators, by staffing this building, a community lighthouse, during long power outages, by participating in Union Migrante meetings and actions to help support and protect our immigrant neighbors. You are doing this in so many, many ways. I have a closing story about building bridges to love. It's a long story, but a good one. So sit back. It's by the Reverend John DeWolf Hurt, a Unitarian Universalist minister in the South, now retired, for more than 50 years. John wrote, in my early childhood, I learned that the words Ku Klux Klan were dirty words in our household. My parents detested the very thought of them, and my defenses were so strongly set that I also abhorred them. Many years later, after preaching the baccalaureate sermon for the first integrated high school class in our town, a cross was burned in my yard. It increased my anger and revulsion even more. But life takes some strange turns. Soon after the cross incident, the local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan got into a shootout among themselves. 2 were killed and 2 were incarcerated. Neither was a member of my congregation, but I had met one of them. Both were in their early to mid-20s. Neither had finished high school. They were unskilled and worked for low wages. Their presence in our county jail was very disturbing to me. I began to think less about the Klan and more about its victims, two of whom were in the parish jail. The words of Jesus haunted me. When I was sick and in prison, you visited me. Then I remembered the words of my colleague, Will Campbell. If we are who we say we are, we have to minister to them. I decided to visit. The first visit was tense but cordial. And as I continued to visit them, we all relaxed. I really think they enjoyed my visits. Do I think I changed them? I don't think so. But I do think my visits had some effect on them and on the town as well. I do know that it added a spiritual dimension to my life. I remember several of our conversations. On one occasion, one of them said, "We don't understand why you visit us. You don't believe like we do." I remember answering very honestly and as gently as I could, "Perhaps it is because I don't believe like you." At another time, I asked if any other ministers were visiting them and was shocked to hear them say, "You are the only one." At the sentencing, both were found guilty and given minimum sentences. One got a year in a first offender's prison, and the other was given a suspended sentence. Thank God, my encounters with the Klan did not end there. Several months later, my younger son was hit by a car while riding his motorbike. He lay on the side of the road with a compound fracture of his left thigh bone. There were no paramedics in 1963 in our town, and they were about to load him into a private ambulance when Billy Grimes came by. He warned them not to touch him until he could put a splint on his leg. Using a board and tearing up his own shirt, he made a splint. Later, the orthopedic surgeon would tell me whoever put the splint on his leg saved his life. The bone was a 1/4 inch from the main artery. Billy Grimes was the head of the local Klan. John concludes, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and it will not return to you void." Each time we emerge to face the terrors of the day, whether it be the snipers of Sarajevo, the Klansmen of the South, the right-wing MAGA politicians of Louisiana, the ICE agents invading our cities, or the wear and tear on our very soul that we each endure, each of these emergings is an act of personal courage. Yet the profound emerges when we build bridges together, bridges of understanding, bridges to love, overcoming all that would destroy. John Wolfhurt built bridges in Florida as we each in our town, in our way, tried to build bridges in our New Orleans Metairie area. I attend and support a Unitarian Universalist congregation because I choose to believe that there is still hope and beauty and justice possible for us all. There will be love for us all if we build bridges to love wherever we are. Amen. Amen.
Community Church is a self-sustaining congregation. Members and friends' generosity help us do the sacred work of bringing justice, spirituality, and compassion to our community and beyond. You can give online, by text using the number in your order of service, or in person this morning. Our offertory is number 401, Kumbaya. You may remain seated.
Go your ways, knowing not the answer to all things, but seeking always the answer to one more thing than you know. Be seekers with your friends. Be adventurers in ways untrod. Share the hope and whatever discovery may come with others. Shalom, salam, go in peace. Go making peace and building bridges this day and in all the days to come. Amen. The closing song is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Please stand and body or spirit as you are able.
You can change the world with your heart. What will guide us through the wonder?
Please join us as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish the chalice here that it might flow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again. We hope to see you in the fellowship hall for fellowship and refreshments. Thank you.